debated posting this because I know how bad it's going to be when people get this answer from me. But there were so many people that asked that I decided, after a lot of thought and consideration, that I will go ahead and respond to the most asked question from my last video, which is, what professions in women should men avoid? And a lot of you thought that those same professions for men that I told you to avoid would translate to women, and they really don't. I don't think that there's enough data out there for me to comment on that. But I've had one military female client who was pretty difficult, but other than that, I've not seen any correlation in those same professions. But I went through my case list. And if you have a problem with me giving an introduction to this, then just scroll along, because I'm about to hurt a lot of people. So I'm going to explain what I have to say. And you're going to have to listen to it if you want the answer. I went through my case list, and there's about 60 cases on my case list. And there are some common professions that I see in women. The most common one that I see is teacher. The second most common is nurse. But those cases are not cases where the female is really difficult or litigious or anything like that. They're just kind of run-of-the-mill cases. The most common profession that I see in the female parties in my divorces, and this is over 13 years of cases. Oh my God, I'm so nervous. Is stay-at-home mom. Hate me. I know y'all are going to hate me, but let me explain why. Number one, when you're divorcing a stay-at-home mom, they are paralyzed with fear, and rightfully so, because their whole life is going to change. They are going to have to go back to the workforce. They're going to have to possibly move. Their finances are about to be very different. There's lots of things that they don't know financially about what's going on. And so they tend to stick their head in the sand and stall. And so the cases become very contested and very expensive. The second reason that I see that stay-at-home moms end up being the most common profession in a divorce is that I think there's a tendency, and this is completely my opinion, just based on my observations, they tend to focus so much on the children, and the husband focuses so much on career that first of all, they don't feel appreciated by one another. But the husband starts feeling like an ATM, and the wife becomes completely focused on the children, and they tend to grow apart. So I think that's why it's the most common. That's not hate, just an observation. It's probably my last TikTok. So see ya.
You see how I don't date broke men? Very mindful, very demure. I'm not like you other girls. I don't go 50-50 with a man. A man picks me up. I don't drive to see a man. A man pays for my Uber.
Talk about chat. The other act was the hardest job in the world is being a woman. Imagine being confused all day. Yo, that's hard. Just waking up confused is hard as hell, bro.
Hold on.
Guys have legitimate complaints about women. Legitimate. They're tired of being used. They're tired of feeling like, oh, the woman is always right. They never get an apology. They get treated with disrespect. They're tired of not being appreciated. They're tired of having you come and say you want all these things from them. But when they ask what you bring to the table or have the audacity to suggest that something they really value isn't on the table, and that perhaps you yourself are not enough to be the table, then somehow you have an attitude problem about it, right? They're tired of all of those things and more.
No one wants to deal with someone who behaves like an entitled, ungrateful child. That's why more and more men are choosing to avoid people like this altogether, to protect their peace, their sanity, and their finances.
My own bills. I raise my kids alone. I take out my own trash. I cut my own grass. I buy and cook my own grocery. You can't be average when it comes to me. Just standards. Very, very high standards.
That's what you're supposed to do. As an adult, you're supposed to take care of your own responsibilities. On top of that, you're a mother of two, so it sounds like you're on your own, so you definitely have to do that. If you weren't doing those things, people would look at you as if you're a bum. Because anytime a man would list those things as qualities about himself, a woman would tell him that it's the bare minimum. So you're not doing anything special. But shout out to you for taking care of your responsibilities and taking care of your kids as you're supposed to. Listen, you're proud of your accomplishments, and that's good. But when it comes to dating, I don't think you understand that those things don't necessarily make you more valuable in the eyes of a man that you're attempting to date. I think it's in your best interest to figure out what men want if you are looking for a man.
I think I'm going to quit my job and go traveling for a year. Yes, of course, babe. Chase your dreams. But how am I going to make money? Don't worry, girl. The universe will provide.
Pass me your phone. You have 0.15p in your bank account. Where are you going to travel to? You can't even afford to pay for the bus to get to work in the first place.
So how's the new guy you're talking to? It's going so well, but I feel guilty. Me and Aaron only broke up 3 days ago. No, babe, you're healing. Your heart moves quicker than the calendar. That's not your fault. Yeah, but I linked his best friend yesterday too.
What, the one that has a girlfriend?
What? Am I moving mad?
Mom's life, you're a hoe.
No, she's not. She's in her soft girl era.
Broski, she's linking guys that are already in a relationship. Her rotation has a rotation. This is why your ex left you.
Be honest. Do I look fat in this picture? Girl, you don't look fat. You look thick.
Yeah, thick in the head for believing her.
And for anyone wondering where these delusions come from, this is it. The double standards, the entitlement, and the ridiculous behavior are all the result of people reinforcing each other's nonsense and convincing one another that none of it is their fault.
All things I want in a man.
Alrighty, let's see what you want, and this is how this is going to go. So everything that you say, I'm going to just calculate a percentage for, and then we'll multiply them together to find what percentage of men in society actually satisfy your requirements.
Number 1, height. My man's got to be above 6'2". My last 2 boyfriends were 6'3". Both of them. And they were jacked. And they looked really good. How am I supposed to downgrade from that? So, unfortunately, my next man will have to be 6'2" and up.
Alright, not going to lie, we're starting off pretty intense. Maybe the rest won't be as bad, but 6'3" and up is 1.4% of all men.
Number 2, you can't have a gut. I need you built. I need you fit and going to the gym multiple times a week. I'm sorry, I'm just not going to date a fat guy. If I can be in the gym 5 days a week and be fit and care about how I look, you can do it.
All right, this one is a little bit more subjective, and I had to do a lot of research for it, but what I came across was that the percentage of men that are very, very fit, meaning that they go to the gym multiple times a week, they have a body mass of around 10% to 12%, that is around 3% of men, and that's being very generous based off the studies that I found.
Number 3, he cannot have a salary cap. Whatever career he's in, he needs to have multiple streams of income, and we need to be able to make as much money as possible. That's why I will never date a guy who works in corporate. What is your 100K salary cap going to do for me? The max you'll ever be able to get to is 150? Yeah, no, we're good. I need you in a career that is going to make us money. I am a lover of luxury. I like expensive things. I like expensive vacations. So will you, if you're my man. So we need a career that can support that. Number 4, whenever we travel, he's got to be flying his business. I'm sorry, we're not staying in economy together. It's just not happening. Again, this is where the lack of salary cap is really going to help. And number 5, he's got to have a really nice watch. I'm not really impressed when I hear somebody has a Rolex anymore because those can be really cheap. I would much prefer if you had an AP or a Patek and maybe multiple of them. The Rolex can be your day watch and it still better be 50K plus.
Okay, so the last 3 things I'm going to just jumble up into one. Having multiple streams of income, being able to fly not only in economy class but business class, being able to afford nice things, and having multiple luxury watches. I'm going to say that this guy is going to have to be a millionaire or make $1 million a year. So I'm going to be really generous with this and say it's 1%, and 1% in many states is not even $1 million, but I'm going to say he has to be a 1% income earner. So it looks like my girl here is from Toronto. So we're going to add up the United States and Canada as well. And we're going to use both those figures for the male population to calculate her chances of meeting somebody that fits her needs and criteria. So let's go ahead and crunch the numbers. We have 164.4 million men in the United States and 20.25 million men in Canada. Adding both of those up, we have 184 to 185 million men. Now, it doesn't seem like she's really picky on age, so we're just going to go from 25 to 50 for this data set. That's about 60 million men rounded up based off all the data I saw in the United States, and about 6 million men for all the data I saw in Canada, which gives her a pool of 66 million men in that age category. And then we have to multiply the variables that she put out there. So that's 66 million times 1.4% for the height, times 3% for the fitness, and times 1% for the income. And this gives you a total of 277 men. So roughly 300 guys rounding up from US to Canada that fit your criteria if you're not willing to compromise. And on top of that, they have to like you and want to commit to you and be in a healthy relationship, which are factors that I have not calculated because I don't really know your personality because I just know you off this video. So let me know if you guys think in the comments below that she's going to find her man, and best of luck.
No man with self-respect is going to willingly sign up to deal with a walking headache that's eager to drain his bank account. The lack of self-awareness here is staggering. No reasonable person would confidently